Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls, the 6th episode. I'm your host Spirit Bounceholder, and last time we went into the depths with the slimes and with the Pyromancer, who is actually sitting over here at Firelink Shrine now. I ran back, I did a little bit of grinding on the slimes to get one specific item. I'll show you later what it is, but let's talk to the Pyromancer first.
Well, I see you made it out. Yeah, I made it out safely too. I have my Pyromancy of the Great Swamp, so I can usually manage with a bit of care. Oh yeah, by the way, I can share my spells with you. I think you have a knack for it. All you need are the materials. I'll be pleased to help you. Unless you find the magics unsavory.
No.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm sure that they'll be of some use, some assistance. Here, first take this.
The Pyromancer Flame.
A flame from the Great Swamp. Now you're a fully fledged Pyromancer. Why, let's get started right now.
Now, he can allow us to upgrade our Pyromancer Flame simply here in exchange for souls. The amount it requires increases rapidly, but it increases the magic adjust, so the amount of damage boost it gives to Pyromancies. So that's quite nice, And here are some of the spells, some of the pyromancies you can get from him. In general, it's quite nice to have at least something. Like using a fireball. Actually can be useful. I think I'll get at least one of them. Might come in handy later. Maybe a fire orb as well. But that costs 8,000 souls. No, not for 8,000 souls yet. Combustion is very short range. Is generally, I don't find it all that interesting, but if you focus a lot on pyromancy, it can still become a quite powerful spell. Iron Flash and Flash Sweat are more like buffs, though that also depends on how you use them. So yeah. Anyway, I'll not extend or exhaust his dialogue unless I feel I really need to, because I don't believe he gives us anything. So let's just get moving.
Come back if you find anything new.
Yeah. Before I go, however, I'll also talk to the other new guy, which is him.
Oh, hello. I regret meeting you under such compromising circumstances. At least we both made it back unscathed. Incidentally, would you care to learn any sorceries? You're clearly talented, and besides, I owe you. Of course, we will require some materials, but I'm happy to teach you some elementary spells. Are you interested?
Sure.
Splendid. Very well. I am pleased to have a chance to give something back. Well then, let's get started straight away.
There's really nothing to gain from either of those guys if you refuse their offer. But yeah, even if we don't use them for anything, they might sell something. We might sometime ever use it, and just for that one case, it really doesn't matter. I mean, we either get nothing from them or we get nothing from them, so doesn't matter. Fall control actually might be something we want to use, but it requires too much intelligence for us. We can already use magic weapon if we like, aural decoy, magic shield we can use, and we can use soul arrow, because those all require less than 11 intelligence to cast. So we don't get a great bonus from it either. Not really all that interesting, but it are very nice sorceries nonetheless.
Goodbye then. Do stay safe.
And here, after defeating the Capra demon, something has changed.
Oh, hello. My guests have finally arrived. I will be departing with them shortly. So, I'm afraid I will be saying goodbye soon. It was a pleasure.
He doesn't talk much. So...
What have we here? You look awfully raggedy. Times are grim. The least you can do is look sharp. Don't you dare meet my lady like that. You might scare her off for good.
Quite rude, but we, underneath our clothes, we are still in hollow form. But I really don't care too much about it.
You are undead as well. Then we've no time to fraternize. I have my mission and you no doubt have yours. We must not let this curse overcome us. Did I not or are you so uncouth as to lack such judgment? By the looks of you, I should think not.
So yeah. Not really much that is interesting in regards to those characters, at least not yet. Later we will see them again. So, normally I would just go and further go into the depths, go to the boss over there, and then move on to Blighttown. But I mentioned fire weapons last time, and I want to show you guys how to get a fire weapon. The normal way. That is not per se the easiest way, but it is the way that you will be using it the most throughout the game if you seek a fire weapon. And for that we need to again go back into the catacombs. I know it's a lot of catacombs. But again, we killed most of the necromancers. It's not the hardest area to pass through, so I don't think we should have to worry too much. I actually switched out my... oh dear. That's lucky. That's quite lucky. I switched out my scythe for a moment. Wanted to test something out, but wasn't really all that important. Alright. Now, we could upgrade our great scythe into a fire weapon. And at first glance that might be very interesting. I mean, you do fire damage, you do normal damage, and you do bleeding damage. That's quite significant. That's quite nice combination, no? But really, the problem really with augmenting elements into your weapons, rather than following the normal progression, in Dark Souls 1 it means you will lose all scaling. So that will both be very valuable and a big issue sometimes. Because you will get a big bonus from your scaling at some point. To the point that you might actually almost do double damage. Simply because of the scaling. Now surely using an elemental upgrade also increases the damage. But if you increase the element of a weapon, or if you use an elemental weapon, the defenses are actually working in such a way that your attack will basically be split in half, and twice will there be an armor reduction over the attack. So so basically what happens is you strike an enemy and it does physical damage first. That physical damage is reduced with the amount of armor scaling, and next thing you get is an amount of physical damage that is inflicted upon your target. Then next comes the fire damage. The fire damage also goes through the armor reduction of fire protection of a certain target. Meaning that again, the damage is reduced. And that can actually mean that your damage is severely lowered simply because you used an elemental weapon rather than a weapon that does a pure amount of damage, that does purely fire damage, that just purely does physical damage, because there are weapons like that. And it is generally more desirable. That is why, unless you have a weapon that you want to use for a specific task, like a fire weapon used for grinding, you generally don't want to mess around too much with it. Oh dear. There is actually a fire weapon that does almost purely fire damage, and that weapon I do wish to acquire, but I will not spoil what it is, and I will not yet talk much about it, because it will be a little while still before we come into those reaches. But needless to say, that weapon is perfect for grinding those slimes. And not only that, but it is also a very dexterity based weapon. It does very, very nice damage overall. It is almost pure fire damage. And it is a curved sword type. Now, it being a curved sword means also that we can use it as an offhand weapon for dual wielding, which it is actually most commonly used as. It is quite a nice weapon to use for offhand combat, with its ability to parry, with its strong fire damage, and it is quite quick as well. But that is something for later. For now, we simply need a fire weapon, not my end-all fire weapon. I might have actually already passed where I need to go. Yes, I already have. This is not where you need to go. Because to get to the to the smith that can use fire augmentations, we need to follow a different path. So first I want to rest at the bonfire over at the secret entrance, because there is a chance that I will mess this up, because it is quite a risky thing to do the first time around, but you need to do it. There's no other way the first time, and later in the game there is an alternative, but generally even that is not all that pleasant. Be sure to have a homeward bone in hand, or of course the homeward spell, the homeward miracle. Doesn't matter, but make sure you have it. Make sure you have it. It's not worth to get stuck there and lose all your remaining souls and humanity and whatever else you are carrying around that you would lose at such a point. Now, that also makes it very risky, because if you look at the amount of souls I have, that is over 5 levels right now. That is much more than you should generally be carrying around. But I am fairly confident, not sure, but fairly confident, that if I screw up, I will be able to get it back. And I'm fairly confident as well that I will not screw it up in the first place. But being the area that it is, being the situation that it is quite hard to say for sure. Don't underestimate the danger, because we need to jump down into this pit. Indeed. That's not a pretty sight, is it? There we go. We roll. There we go. We could actually land on that platform there. That would cause less damage to our health, but we reached it here and we get a green Titanite shot. Oh well, then that means that my grinding was for nothing, because that was my secret item that I grinded. No matter. Now we have 2. Simply means we can go a level higher with our fire weapon. Fine either way. Now let's fall down for the rest. And down here you can already hear him. A small cutscene will appear the moment you fall down.
Be gone with you. You spoil my focus.
He's very grumpy, but he does allow us... Oh dear, that's the guy that fell down. The guys, in fact, that fell down. Oh well, no problem. He's grumpy, but he's very nice. Apart from that, he can do fire augmentations. He can make... you will be bringing a fire ember to him at some point. And in general.
Why? An ember, do you? Forget about it. I don't deal with that kind. What has gone wrong with embers these days?
We picked up a large ember in the depths, but he can't use it. We need to go to Astora. That Astora guy. I'm not sure what his full name was anymore, but we've seen him over near the undead parish. Now he can augment us with fire weapons in exchange for a green Titanite and a few souls. Very nice indeed. But as you can see, we would lose the scaling. We would get significant damage boost, that we do get. but it's not worth losing our sight over, because our sight we want to keep as it is. So what we actually want to do, and the reason why I was carrying around this much souls, is because we are going to choose an entirely new weapon. Oh, and we can actually get a homeward bone from him as well. Rather nice indeed. So we will get quite a few. We will get 9. And we will go to reinforce weapon. Now we can choose whichever weapon we like that does normal, that follows a normal upgrade path. But keep in mind the job, it's simply for grinding, it's simply for a specific enemy. But at the same time, it might come in handy later, so try to pick a weapon that's not too unpleasant to wield. So a scimitar I suppose should do fine for now. So we'll upgrade our scimitar to +5. There we go. Exactly 9 Titanite shards. We go to modify equipment. And we can now upgrade our scimitar to a fire scimitar. So let's do that. Now we have a scimitar +5 ascended to fire scimitar. And because we picked up an additional green Titanite shard, we can upgrade it once more to a fire scimitar +1. There we go.
If I'm a bull, then be gone with you. You'll spoil my falcon.
Grumpy, as I said, but a very, very pleasant guy to have around with his fire magic, with his fire infusion. Now you can see the little symbol, does fire damage, it has no scaling anymore. It has a little bit of an increased defense against fire. So if you have a shield that you want to upgrade in similar fashions, you can use that as well. You can infuse a shield with a certain element type and it will protect you better against that specific element type. But for now, this shows and concludes how you infuse a weapon with fire. Use a homeward bone to get out of here. And the remainder of the souls we will start to use for leveling. And we need dexterity the most of all. And we need faith as well. So we're only a bit short from going another level, from going 3 levels. So I'll use another soul. That's the reason why I keep those in my back pocket, because there will always be reasons why you want to use them. There we go. Now we can do 1 in faith as well. Is that alright? I suppose that's alright for now. Sure. Then we got 20 dexterity, which is very significant for given the status, the situation of our game. And yeah, now we can go back and now we actually have to move back through the catacombs again and continue the depths. The grinding for the equipment for the large Titanite shards I will do probably off camera. But since I needed a fire weapon to do that, and since it might be interesting to show that to you guys, I figured I should do it in this episode. So there you go. So I hope and I think I can probably do Gaping Dragon for this episode. Not entirely sure on that, but probably should be able to, right? However, there is something I need to do as well that I need to be human for. Which is no problem, we actually have 8 humanity. So we can just turn ourselves into human. Should be an issue. Now, if you go human again, basically what it means is you can use, do certain kinds of things that you couldn't otherwise do, and you can also be invaded. And that's exactly what we want to happen, because we need to have a scripted invasion happen. Some invasions are actually scripted into the game, are that will happen regardless of being offline. That are simply NPCs basically, and they will quite notably also fight as NPCs, being somewhat easier to beat than most normal real people. But there are some things you can gain from intentionally engaging in those invasions. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, what the hell? That was very unfortunate. That's what you call getting stun locked. Oh well, that's actually quite impressive considering that we have a very massive amount of poise. But yeah, that's again one of those things. Never underestimate your enemies. They can fuck you over so hard. Not even funny. Alright. Now, we had 8 humanity, and you might be wondering, like, we picked up a couple of humanity on the way, but you never saw me using any, right? No. No, it couldn't have been. So, I actually indeed did not use any humanity. I did not gain any humanity from items. So how did I get it? Well, guys, that little underlying system, and I believe I might have already mentioned it, but again, for new players this is truly something strange, truly something. I had to look it up online before I understood what it actually was, because at random intervals, or seemingly at random intervals, you will actually get a bit of humanity from an enemy you defeated. Now what is actually happening is, underneath in the code, a counter is kept. I believe that is actually related to the amount of souls that you receive. And when that reaches a certain number, when you've defeated a certain amount of enemies, acquired a certain amount of souls by killing enemies, you will get a humanity. And every time that happens, the next time will take a bit longer. It's just like leveling, but instead of levels, you get free humanity for it. That's quite nice, because, well, it's literally as it sounds. It's free humanity. As long as you don't lose it, as long as you don't die, you will always have that humanity just gathered up. Now, if you die and you lose your bloodstain, then that humanity will be gone, because it's not humanity that you can use as an item. Not something you can keep in your back pocket. It's always there, it's always active, and you can always lose it. You can also always use it because of that. But only if you still have it, of course. But still, it's free humanity. It's pretty nice. It allows you to just kill enemies and eventually get humanity for it. Makes you able to reverse the hollowing. Allows you to do invasions, or rather to get invasions. It allows you to use co-op. It's just a very nice thing to have. And many people will at some point find themselves needing humanity and having no way that they directly know to get it, because they might have already got so much humanity from just killing enemies. There's nothing left except to just find it in the world, really. Well, luckily for that there is as well a saving grace, because in the depths near the slimes, there spawn a lot of rats. And not very strange in the sewer, is it? But rats have a small chance of dropping the item humanity. So if you're patient enough, you can just go and grind the rats and you will simply get humanity for that. Basically, again, that grants you infinite humanity. Everything in this game, in regards to items and things you need, everything you can get from the world, really. It's all a matter of patience. It's all a matter of being careful, minding your area, learning your enemies, learning what they drop, learning when they drop it most likely. And that's something why I, despite having 8 humanity, I still haven't done anything with it. Because as I explained before, every time we get a humanity, our item discovery rate goes up. And that means that we're more likely to find items whilst grinding certain enemies. Humanity will be dropped by rats far more often when you have 8 humanity than when you have 2 humanity. Definitely something to keep in mind. Those guys all have left. So now you can't buy miracles anymore. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Well, luckily, that one guy that sold you miracles, spoiler alert, he comes back. Yeah, kinda silly to give a spoiler alert at this point really, after all I've told you. But still. He comes back eventually. With a rather strange story. But yeah. So you won't lose him, you won't lose his miracles, no worries. Just a matter of, I believe it's just beating the next boss. And you're already done, I think. Come on, buddy. There we go. You might actually be curious. Let's use this the fire scimitar, just to see what it actually can do. All right? Just a small simple thingy, not all that impressive, but there you go. Gives a nice fire effect, not around the sword itself. That's still something I was a bit felt was a bit of an anticlimax the first time I witnessed it. But yeah, it does fire damage, and it does quite a nice amount of damage as well. Enemies that are vulnerable to fire damage will now no longer pose any issue to us. We can just walk over and get back to the slimes. We can grind them. We can get the large Titanite shard for them, and then I can ascend the scythe to +6, and after that I can simply upgrade it at any place I like to +10. To go from level from +5 to +6 is an ascension as well. Keep that in mind. If you're like, oh, I have all the Titanite items I need to upgrade a weapon from level 0 to level 15, well, that's great for you, but you still need to find a blacksmith to ascend it for you. There's only one blacksmith that can do it for you. One you can find quite early in the game, but still, you need to get back to him. Don't think you get off scot-free like that. Don't set us on fire. There we go. Oh dear. Ouch. That was much closer than I would like, really. Oh dear. That little bit of punch through damage. Now look at our health bar. We have 2 health. Oh wow, we survived that with literally 2 health. Not one of my better moves, but oh well. We can just heal it up again. And we'll skip that whole area down there simply by walking over here. You can do it the first time too, but I don't recommend it. Because you won't get the sack, you won't find the pyromancer. Come on buddy, fall down. There you go, 2 hits and they're gone. That easy. There's actually a secret passage down there as well, but I won't be using it yet. the greatest benefit it gives you is that it will grant you a spider shield, and the spider shield is one of the starter shields. Not all that impressive really, but nice to have nonetheless. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. See, that's why we got the fire weapon. Because if we don't use a fire weapon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits. That's how long it takes. That's how much effort having a fire weapon saves you against these guys. How much easier it will make it for me to grind those things. And for you as well, if you choose to do the same thing. Alright. Oh, you might actually wonder why I don't upgrade, why I don't kindle my bonfires, because I could. And that is not so much because I don't want to, but mostly because I feel I don't need to. I've already played this game a couple of times through, so I pretty much know that with the heal and with 5 Estus Flask I will generally be able to overcome whatever comes at me. So I generally choose to not upgrade them, to not kindle them. But this time we can actually do that, just to show you what it's like. And I need to reverse hollowing anyway, because I need to trigger that invasion, which will be in this area. I might actually get invaded by another guy as well, but that's just the risk you have to take. So, first return human. Nothing changes because you can see our skin, but I'll show you that as well. And we'll kindle the flame. And at first sight nothing happens, and at second sight nothing happens either, because we still have 10 Estus Flasks. Well, that's specifically because we saved it. But something that did change is the fact that the flame is now a bit higher, a bit brighter. And we have a summon sign here. We could summon him. We could summon him into our world and he could help us out, do whatever. So yeah, it's quite nice. Now we are at risk of getting invaded. You can also see that our humanity is currently looking like it's white glowing. And just to show you off, there you go, we're human again. We don't look like those wretches over there. Does it give any other bonuses? I don't believe so. It's a big rat. I believe there were no other significant bonuses apart from simply having this, the ability to kindle, apart from having the ability to invade and interact online. I think I'll actually keep the scimitar for now, because it's about on par. That's something to keep in mind. It's already about on par with the Drake Sword in regards to the amount of damage it does. So does that mean that the Drake Sword is useless now? Well, not precisely. But at the same time, it's not going to be very useful either anymore. But there will be enemies that are resistant to fire, and in those cases you might still want to use the Drake Sword instead of the scimitar. Now we'll head to this path. Carefully watch the ground. I believe that this one is still fine. But if you walk around this corner, for example, oh right, white fog. This area I don't feel I need to pass through yet. We can again summon another guy. Looks a lot like us actually. Has got a different shield. He wields the Black Knight Greatsword actually. And he has the gargoyle helmet, which I would be as well if I had it. But I don't. Didn't get that lucky. If you go down here you can see water falling down there. We actually need to go down there But yeah, should we just fall down? There actually was something. It was a different path, right? I would swear there was a different path. That you didn't have to go through this white fog yet. I might be wrong. Might just be an idiot. Wouldn't surprise me too much. Oh well. We can probably... Nope, we can't jump across yet. Here you need to be careful. Get immediately jumped by these guys. Not too dangerous by themselves, but they can curse you. And that is a very scary thing indeed, as I explained. I mean, that can cut your health down so low that you will not be able to fight anything anymore. And this is also the area wherein an invasion takes place. So you need to be prepared. He will actually be in exactly this area, so after we defeat these rats, it would not surprise me if we get invaded. Come on, buddy. Come around the corner. Here we go. There we go. Dark Knight Kirk has invaded. The Dark Spirit Knight Kirk. There we go. Also known as Mr. Spiky Balls. Well, no, not really, but he is the most spiky knight in the entire game. And you can see we can already easily backstab him. There's not too much of a threat in regards to him. But he does fight as a human. And that in general makes him significantly more dangerous. And of course he does bleeding damage because all he is spikes basically. Defeated him. And we can retrieve the remaining power. Now we got almost 6,000 souls and we get humanity. Very nice indeed. Now I will be running through this area because there are some more items that I want to acquire. But in general this is quite an unpleasant place. Be very careful, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your enemies. Because these guys will poison or these guys will curse you if you allow them to. Be sure to have enough humanity in your pocket. If you don't have humanity on that counter, you don't need to be human, but have humanity on that counter, you will get cursed very quickly. Your curse resistance goes down. See? That the bar, that fog, that is the curse. Now it isn't all that intense, it isn't all that dangerous when you have a high humanity, but when your humanity drops, that counter drops, so too will your resistance, and then one blow might be enough to get you cursed. You don't want that. A friend of mine had that, he simply wasn't able to find any way out of his situation, and yeah. There was that, really? He stopped the game at that point. Don't believe he ever came back to it. He is playing Dark Souls 2 now, but wherein the curse system works differently, but it is quite a cruel thing to happen. You see these statues? It's quite a strange statue, isn't it? It's also positioned very strangely. Those are actually remains of other players that got cursed. Statues, people that get cursed, statues of those will be placed in other people's worlds of where they were cursed. Very unique feature. You will not see them when you play in single player. When you simply play without internet, they will not appear. Evil Eye Ring. I like this ring. I like this ring a lot. I will equip it. Because it absorbs HP from fallen enemies. Oh yes. It's a very simple thing. And it isn't all that great really. But if it are enemies that you know you can beat, but you know that you might get hit with, which is mostly enemy, then it can be a useful thing. It can be nice to have that little bit of extra HP every time you kill an enemy. I hope we don't get invaded. invaded isn't all that big of a deal, really. As long as you indeed realize and are experienced with the fact that you're probably going to die. If you're not experienced in Dark Souls combat, you're not going to beat them. Because people that actually go out and invade people generally are very experienced, generally are very capable at defeating a human enemy. So be aware of that you probably will die. So if you actually get invaded, first thing I recommend you do, first thing you do when you get invaded is run to a place where you know you can collect your bloodstain again. It doesn't matter if you kill him or not, just make sure you get to a place where if you die, it won't matter. Because that way it won't matter that you were invaded if it happens.
Aye, sir. I'm Donald of Xena. I'm just a peddler of sorts. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
He's very nice. Now, at this moment he doesn't sell much of interest. He sells gold pine resin, which is rather nice. He sells crystal weapons. Looks very tempting, but don't do it. These things can't be repaired and have low durability. It's not worth it. And its armor set is actually quite nice. It's quite nice armor set indeed. Might want to get it, but not entirely sure. Pardon? It has good protection. It is heavy armor, but it is also quite expensive.
Well, that is a shame, but no matter. No, not to worry. Come back again. I'm always available. Not every trade. There'll be more in store for us someday, sometime.
So, this guy is very, very nice indeed. He doesn't sell much at this moment, but what he does sell later on, in fact, is equipment of bosses you defeated. Now, obviously, that does not include the Capra Demon. You cannot include get armor from enemies that are monsters, but there are sort of human-like enemies in the game. If you defeat them, you can get the armor from him. Very, very nice indeed. In fact, Artorias' armor you can buy from him after you defeat him. Indeed. You can cosplay as Artorias himself in the game. Very fun indeed. I think we're actually quite ready. We don't want to have this ring equipped though. We want to have the blue Tearstone ring because this will be a boss fight. So all chances at surviving we have to take. People cry out for need humanity because they want someone to support them. We can summon Knight Solaire. That's something we want to do. And we also have Night Lord Trek. Oh, I actually did not know this. But you can actually summon him as well. Well then, I will at least summon Solaire. And actually, why the hell not? Why not summon both of them? Let them both fight with you. So, Solaire is an NPC we encountered and he also fights like an NPC. And Lautrec obviously is the same story. These guys will always appear as long as you have interacted with them, as long as you've met them. Lautrec, I don't know the requirements exactly for when he is permitted to be summoned. But either way, these guys will help you out in your fight. Now one of them is gold and one of them is white, and that's because of the covenant that Solaire is part of, the one we want to join later on. But apart from that, these guys will simply help us out during this boss fight. And that is why you want to have humanity. It will allow you to summon in help for boss fights. Now, I know from experience that I don't need to help with this guy, but I think it might be nice to show off. And this is the Gaping Dragon. And you'll see why he's called the Gaping Dragon. And we again want to cut off his tail. There you go. The gaping dragon. Quite intimidating indeed, but he's not that hard. You just need to learn his move pattern, and once you know what he does and when he does it and why he does it, he becomes quite easy to evade. NPCs obviously are not quite as versed in knowing these things. We want to strike at his tail as much as we can. Hopefully our NPC friends will distract him enough that we can actually have a good opening at his tail, because he does have a tail swipe otherwise. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. No, Knight's Lair was already vanquished. Oh dear, there's actually... Oh, I did not know that. One of those priests that we did not defeat earlier is actually attacking us now from above there. It shouldn't matter too much, but yeah, he is attacking us, and it in general is just a pain. Alright, so he crashes his maw down. I actually hope that he drops his tail a bit further. Oh dear, he is buffed? I did not know this could happen. We might actually not even... Oh, there we go. There we go. His tail's cut off. That's a great relief. That saves us a lot of trouble to hunt down... to no longer having to hunt down that specific point of his body. Now, like Lautrec was vanquished as well. So it's up to us now. And we have to keep dancing around the attacks. Now, something to keep in mind as well with summoning NPC help is that NPCs will mean that the boss itself becomes a bit sturdier. And I believe also does a bit more damage. So in general, you call in help and he becomes tougher. And that might sound very unfair, but really, is it? It keeps the game interesting despite you having help. And if you have good help, it won't matter that he's a bit tougher. Or if you're just that good yourself, of course. Now we are actually in the worst kind of situation now. And what I mean by that is not so much that the fight itself is going all that bad. But we summoned in 2 NPCs for help, meaning that the Drake is about at maximum strength. I believe you can summon at maximum 3 NPCs or 3 supporting players in for the boss fights. Now not only are both of those already defeated and can't they help us anymore, but also we now have that guy that's constantly firing those soul arrows at us. So this basically has turned in from a normal boss fight into a fight that is more resembling of somebody who is playing this on New Game Plus. Oh dear, that does a lot of damage. Now, as long as we don't get knocked up, it might be alright. But don't blame me if I don't make it. Because this is not easy. Constantly having to dodge those soul arrows was never something I had to do with him before. But luckily the Gaping Dragon itself is easy, relatively easy to avoid. Oh dear, we need to run, need to run, need to run, need to run, need to run. There you go, that's why. He is wearing us down very slowly. Ow! Ow, 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 ow. That's no good. That's no good. Now luckily, the dragon itself is at that moment no threat to us. Of course, the other guy still is. Come on, run, 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 run. I never knew that he would attack us. We had a chance to get rid of him. Perhaps we definitely should have when we had that chance, but too late for that kind of talk right now. We will either win or we will be defeated right now. Ouch. And we'll admit, the summons were defeated exceptionally quick. Usually they last at least a bit longer. Come on, buddy. Oh dear, that's not the attack I wanted you to use. Just run and don't look back. Right, he will come crawling towards us in a moment. There you go. Just stay beside him at a small distance and you can strike at his side. Oh dear, and now he will probably turn around. Yep. There we go. And hopefully he will crash down on top of us again. Nope, he uses his claw to attack us. That's alright as well. He will switch places again, switch direction. Now hopefully crash down your maw upon me, please. Nope, again uses a paw attack. He is not eager to crash his mouth down upon us this time around. Oh dear, that was his other hand. I didn't even know he had that attack. And that's alright, we managed to evade it. Oh dear, oh dear! No, 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 no. Again, run and don't look back, because the range of that poison is quite big, not pleasant. Alright, he crashed down. It's about time. He starts crawling again. So you see, it's really not all that intimidating once you know his pattern, but you need to learn that pattern, you need to study it, you need to understand it. He crashes down again. That's definitely in our favor. Because that allows us to use a miracle heal right now. There we go. Oh dear. You do whatever you like, mate. You will probably do exactly as I expected. Paw attack again. Run out of the way. Take a drink. And walk away again. God damn. Could you stop with those soul arrows? Yes, darn it. Oh dear. Oh! I know it's too late actually. There you go. Ah, come on, buddy. Oh dear. Sweeping strike. And that's a tail strike, but he has no longer got a tail, so that actually makes it a bit easier for us because he doesn't have a tail anymore. Nice time to crash down. And he will start running again. Just stick with him. God darn. priest is really being annoying dickhole. Oh. Without him, I wouldn't have to heal all this much. I mean, the dragon itself hasn't done much damage at all against us. So, just stick with him again. Start wailing on his hind legs. Oh dear. Drink, good timing, roll away. Then he will crawl again, and well, he has only got a sliver of health. But it doesn't mean you should run in and just attack him. Always be patient, always do keep your normal routine, and attack when you know he's vulnerable, not when you hope he's vulnerable. There we go. That was the hardest boss fight for the Gaping Dragon I've had in a long time. And he's still firing at us. He is still trying to kill us. So remember people, next time, if you ever fight the Gaping Dragon, defeat that priest first. Because, hallelujah, that is no fun. Oh, and if you get summons, try to get human summons, because Jesus Christ, those... Last time actually I used Solaire, he was quite tanky, but this time he just got massacred. He's still trying to kill us. Unbelievable what a kind of jerk he is. But, nonetheless, we defeated the Gaping Dragon. And we can open the shortcut. Which I actually should have done before, but oh well. I still haven't dealt with the giant rat. But here we are, back at our bonfire. Safety. Here we go. Well, that has been the Gaping Dragon. And that has been it for this episode. So I thank you all for watching. This has been the 7th episode of Dark Souls. I've been Spale Balanceholder, and I wish you all a great day.